You are listening to the Lawyer Stories podcast with host Benny Gold. Lawyer Stories was founded in July 2017 on Instagram and is an expanding global network of lawyers and law students sharing their personal journeys to the noble profession of the practice of law. Join us on this podcast as we dig deeper into these stories and hear from lawyers and law students from around the world in all areas of the legal profession. Here at Lawyer Stories, we believe that every lawyer has a story. What's yours?
Welcome to the Lawyer Stories podcast with Benny Gold. Today we welcome in Travis Hoechlin, CEO of RizeUp Media in Aliso Viejo, California, assisting law firms to generate new clients from the internet, increase their revenue, help them grow. RizeUp's doing online attorney marketing, some website design, SEO, pay-per-click, and they are there when you need them. How are you today, Travis?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for coming in. So quite the story. I've read up on you. I know we haven't featured you on Instagram quite yet, and Facebook, but tell us first. I'd like to get the background a little bit. Where are you from, Travis?
I'm from right here in Southern California, born and raised. Outside of a couple years of going off to college, been here my whole life.
That's awesome. And you got the entrepreneurial bug. I was reading in your story. Tell us a little bit about that. That's like an interesting way to put it.
Yeah, my dad. I grew up. My dad was a doctor by trade. He owned his own practice, and just saw from an early age. He always preached to us to go own your own business and kind of make your own way, and just kind of followed in my dad's footsteps. I guess I wasn't smart enough to become a doctor, so my life went a little different turn. A C in biology in first year of college kind of determined that, but
yeah, it's not easy. Yeah. Not easy stuff.
But yeah, no, that's where it kind of came from.
Okay, so tell us about I see that you're a big baseball person. I love baseball. That was the first sport I played as a kid. So tell us about your love for baseball and what you did after college when you weren't going to play any further.
Yeah. So once again, my whole family, I have two younger brothers, and my dad and myself, we all played college baseball. And so that was kind of laid a lot of groundwork in my life, a lot of life lessons, to be competitive, certainly be, work hard, outwork the folks around you, were all life lessons that you learn from doing that. And as we, as time went on, and as with everybody in life, baseball comes to an end. You kind of look around and see what's next. And my dad had a mentee that was in sales, and kind of pointed me in that direction. I had a degree in psychology, and that kind of went hand in hand, and kind of how to talk to people and how people thought, and that was the start of a sales career.
Yeah. Wow. So what position did you play, by the way? Baseball.
I played first and third many years ago, but first and third.
Did you ever, okay, this is kind of a side question. Did you ever play in a softball league or something, like a co-ed softball league? Because I loved softball, playing softball. I had kids. It got a little difficult, but I don't know if you were out there playing at all.
Absolutely. I mean, once we're done with baseball, played in many softball leagues.
There you go.
Same with you. I have a soon-to-be 7-year-old and a 5-year-old, and all those hobbies kind of are on the back burner for right now.
Yeah, for sure. So you mentioned your dad's mentee, somebody who looked up to your dad, I guess. So he saw that you had a knack for selling. So was there something specifically about selling websites to lawyers, or being part of that profession that drove you to it?
Yeah, I think what caught my attention in selling was it was something to be competitive at, right? Every day you're going in, you're competing against your colleague next to you, or the company across town, or whatever it may be. And that part of it where you're getting wins every single day.
Right.
Potentially getting wins every single day. It just kind of fed that competitive nature that certainly drives me to this day. And yeah, it was, I feel like I was very, very teachable walking into it, and just figured, hey, you know how to do it. I don't know nothing, and I'm just going to be a sponge, and just became his mentee, and tried to soak up every bit of it. I've sold tons of different things along the way. Started telemarketing golf clubs and cell
That's
phones,
awesome.
and then
I did, I did telemarketing too, actually. And so what was it like to telemarket golf clubs? You were like, hey, did you call them up and say, hey, did you slice any today? I got the perfect solution for you. Is that like,
I'll never forget, like, the first day in that job, they stuck a stack of leads in front of me, like a stack of 100, and I don't know where they got the leads, probably the yellow pages or the white pages at that point.
Yep.
And I just remember how heavy the phone was, and that I could feel beads of sweat dripping down my back because I was so nervous. But it was a great learning experience where you just have to, as you well know, you're banging the phone, and you get used to rejection really, really quickly. And then
but it feels so good to make that sale, like making the sale is great. You run it up to your person up there, and you're like, look what I did. I don't think they had a bell, but I could see them like ringing the bell.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
That's great. So do you have any advice about like how to make a sale, like any quick and dirty sort of, like, do you have anything that just in general, like how to maybe market yourself, or any subtle advice that you want to share?
Quick and dirty is be a good listener.
Okay.
Whoever talks the least wins, right?
Okay, that's good.
And find out what their issue is or struggle is, and find a way to help them out. I mean, that we do that to this day. I mean, I like to think that's what myself and my crew here does better than anybody out there is.
Yeah, totally. And so listening to the needs of the customer, and so getting into RizeUp, obviously, you had an itch to go big is something I read. Like, tell us about the itch to, become an entrepreneur, start RizeUp, and like what that means to have an itch to go big.
Yeah, I think more than anything, when we came from a big box store, a lot of us came from a big box store marketing company in this space, and were there for a long time, and just saw that we could do it. Figured we could do it bigger and better. And so when we came over here, there was a lot of things that we certainly took from as far as our experiences and what we liked and didn't like of where we were, and then implemented the things that we thought would get our client. At the end of the day, we want to win, and we want our clients to win, and we don't have any contracts with the clients that we work with. So
really, tell us about that. That's interesting. How does it work?
So we figure if there's no contracts, number one, that's how I would want to be treated. My vendors who sell us stuff, that ideally that's how I want to be, and it keeps our interests in line. If you're my client and you have no contract, it keeps my team making sure that we're producing on a monthly basis.
Interesting.
And I joke around that if we run in, it works both ways. If we run into some attorneys that we don't enjoy working with, we can part as friends.
So what do? You just give them like 30 days or something? Is that you just say, hey, we're not?
Yeah, we ask for a 30-day notice if they're gonna move to somewhere else, and we find out. And knock on wood, we have a 90-some.
That's amazing. Yeah,
90%.
Say that again. 90%.
A plus 90% retention rate, and we've done so for the last 4 years.
Yeah, I mean, I think that actually is a good point to bring out, that you have first of all, a 90+ retention rate, but that you don't have a contract with people. You're so confident in your abilities at RizeUp that you're going to do good by the customer that you only request like a 30-day notice on either end. So how many employees do you have now?
We just hired our 31st employee.
Congratulations. How long have you been around, RizeUp?
4 years. 4 years okay. As of July 17th.
Okay, that's good. So you like to help the attorneys. I was reading, you like to help them achieve their dreams. Like you want to see them do amazing work. So what advice can you give our legal community to help grow their firms? Maybe like one or two pieces of advice. We don't want to give the farm away, of course, but we just
Yeah, no, I think what drew me to this, a number of things, but one of the things that drew me to this industry is, like my dad, who was a doctor, he famously always says that I never went through one business class going through medical school.
right.
Right. And so we get a lot of joy we realize most attorneys don't know how to build or scale their business online. That's where that's where our expertise
Yep.
is. That's where we can help. And we sit down with them and it's, I think what number one is most of I would say the average experience in the legal marketing industry for all of my employees is 10 plus years. Almost all of them have 10 plus years experience working in this space. And we certainly have been, there's been temptation to go into other industries outside of a few friends and family that have twisted my arm to
help them out. Yep.
We stay in our lane. And because we've done this for so long, understand. And I think one of the things is understanding how a law practice works, how they get paid, what their pain points are, understanding that budget is important, how to allocate their budget. If a personal injury attorney, they get paid on contingency,
Right.
and they're going to do a longer term strategy, make sure we communicate with them what that looks like.
Right.
I tell PI attorneys all the time, if I show up on this phone call with 5 PI cases over my shoulder, you're not seeing money on that for 6 to 12 months, right? If I'm handing them to you at that point.
That's right.
So have they thought that through, right? Because I've heard so many stories of attorneys, I tried this and it didn't work. Well,
Right.
My bet is that someone didn't understand your business or didn't hear you or ask the right questions to make sure the expectations were set correctly and make sure they understood what they were getting into. We walk away from as much business as we take, to be quite frank.
Amazing.
It doesn't make sense. It makes no sense for us financially to bring on a client that's not going to stay around for the long haul and that we don't think is a winner, that we set them up in a winning position right out of the gate. It doesn't make any sense. So that keeps our interests in line with theirs because that doesn't make any sense for them either.
Wow. So, and one thing that's really interesting regarding RizeUp is you said all your employees, or most of your employees, have been in the business for 10 plus years, but RizeUp's been around for 4 years. What do you think makes it such a conducive environment to wanting to work for RizeUp?
I'd like to think that they see where we're headed. They see where our goals are. They see that we want to do right by our customer. We have a great product and service, and that we're going to win. We want to win, and we roll up our sleeves. We go above and beyond for our clients. Like one of the biggest hurdles that law firms, most of our firms that we work with are solo practitioners, up to about 10 attorneys. That's kind of a sweet spot.
That's good.
So probably 80% of them, 80+% of them are solo practitioners. So they're the host, they're the waiter, they're the chef, they're the manager, they're wearing all the hats.
But that's good. I think you can definitely build good relationships with solos.
So we like to think so. Yeah, absolutely. And getting them to the number one hurdle that most firms have is just answering the phone appropriately, right? Like I can't tell you, like only 80% of people, if they hit a voicemail, they're going to somewhere else.
Right.
And if we can just help them, priority number one when we bring on a client is how do we convert more of the business that's getting referred to you? Priority number one, before I bring them one stranger to their firm in the door, how do we set them up? And we do secret shopping with their firm, track all their phone calls, have them listen to the phone calls to make sure that the folks that are answering the firm are putting their best foot forward. Like a lot of firms, they default into having their least expensive employee be the face of their firm, which is answering the phone.
That's interesting. Yeah.
And training them up and tracking all their calls so they can figure out what's working and what isn't.
Yeah, that's such a big piece of it. The intake is such a big piece of running a law firm, not missing those calls. So tell us like some more about RizeUp Media. Like, what are you guys like doing in particular for law firms? I know you got the SEO, the websites. Tell us all about it.
Yeah, I tell people we do 5 things. We build custom websites. Once those websites are live, we do SEO work so they show up on Google. We do social media.
Yep.
We manage pay-per-click campaigns through Google AdWords,
Okay.
and we manage local service ads,
Okay.
which is Google's relatively new pay-per-call program.
Okay.
And those are the 5 things that we do well. We stay in our lane. We certainly have relationships with answering services and
Sure.
chat services and things that we would refer out to, but we really try to stay in our lane and do what we do best.
Like, where location? I know you're helping everybody. Just to be clear, you're in California, but you're helping everybody in the U.S. Do you have like a particular place where most of your clients are coming from, most of the firms, or that you're targeting?
We have about 300 plus firms that we work with currently, and we're in about 37 different states.
That's amazing.
We have sales reps in about 6 or 7 different states.
Really? Where can you do you know where? The top
Florida, Louisiana, North Carolina. We have 4 here in California. We have 1 in Arizona, and we're continuing to expand.
Very good. That's huge. So are you the owner, like the sole owner? I know you're the CEO.
There's 3 partners.
Okay.
Myself, Bo Bryant, and George Kubanovich.
Gotcha. Okay. So what's the best way for a lawyer to invest their money in like advertising or whatnot?
I think it depends, and that's a famous line from SEO.
Now you're sounding like a lawyer, man.
I know. Yeah, it sounds like a lawyer as well, but it really is. There's 3 types of firms that come to us. There's folks that, and it really depends on what their needs are and what their budget, certainly, but more. For example, we get calls all the time where somebody goes, Travis, if I hand you $1, I need to see $5 come back. Like,
wow,
tomorrow.
That's stressful, man.
Yeah, but the right strategy, like, so in something like that, we would incorporate a short-term, I wouldn't say short-term strategy, because that would imply that it should stop, but an instant gratification strategy. So for example, if someone who needs that, I'm not going to tell them, hey, let's build a website, let's do SEO, because that's going to take 6 or 12 months. They're going to quit 3 months down the road because they ran out of capital, or they get frustrated, or what have you. So there are products that, like pay-per-click or local service ads or Facebook ads, that when you launch them, the phone rings that month, so they can turn a profit or get cash flow coming into the business right away, right?
Yep.
We have other folks that come to us that go, hey, I've neglected my online presence for a long time, and say things to me like, hey, my competitors down the street are getting cases that I should be getting. And I know it's because they're marketing on the internet. So help me with my website, get me to show up organically. I don't need to necessarily see a return. We have a ton of business. We would like to supplement that. So I don't need business to come in tomorrow, but as long as we're seeing a positive return on investment in the next 6 to 12 months, I'm good with that. So we would put them in a different strategy. And then we certainly have the folks that do some type of combination of the two, where it's like, hey, I want to grow my website and show up organically, because that's kind of like renting a home. A website, how, in my opinion, you should look at it, is like buying a home. Mm-hmm. It doesn't happen. You and I buy a piece of property today. Mm-hmm. Outside of the money we would potentially have to put down, there's no equity there. But we would like to think 24, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years down the road, that'd be one of the better investments that we have made, right? Yeah. If you look at pay-per-click or local service ads or Facebook ads, it's kind of like renting a move-in ready apartment, right? You get all the benefits and business comes in the door right away, and it's instant gratification. And like most things that have instant gratification, they're not the cheapest thing on the block, right? But it really, we like to think that we do a very, very good job of interviewing each client and understanding that piece, so we can set them up, and we can always pivot. And we can always, and that typically helps them grow quicker.
Do you have clients who just want to see, like, have them get exposure, or are they really looking for, like, are they very precise and specific, like if they're getting that amount of clicks or like
Yeah,
an amount of views? Because that's something I think about too with lawyer stories, right? Like, I tell people, we're a big community. I'm connecting lawyers and legal professionals, and we're, and brands who come on and giving them good exposure. That's what I like to think.
yep.
So I don't know like what a professional, and we're in this space now, but I don't know like what a professional marketer or digital marketing company would actually think. Like are they really trying to, like you said, maximize the dollar or whatnot?
Well, I think anytime there's certainly something to be said about brand and brand recognition,
Yeah.
certainly, right? Or like I said, the first step for any lawyer or law firm that comes to us is, how do we make your online presence the most appealing? Right? Because every lawyer says they get their best business from referrals.
Right.
So it's usually a beauty contest at that point, right? Like I get calls, I've been doing this for a long, long time, right?
Yeah.
And I get many calls, probably weekly calls of folks that go, hey, I know you're running a circle of a bunch of lawyers. I got in a car accident, or I need a divorce, or I need whatever. Who would you recommend? And I typically give 2 or 3 names, right? Lawyers have told me that for years. If you do PI, and I ask you, where do you send your family law stuff to? You typically rattle off 2 or 3 names.
Mm-hmm.
And so, right or wrong, people are making those decisions based on what they see online.
Mm.
And I'll give you a story. So
Yeah.
I preach this every single day, and I saw it come to life. I told you I have 2 daughters.
Yep.
A number of years ago, before our first daughter, my wife we're trying to pick out a pediatrician, our firstborn, right?
Sure.
Totally rookies, don't know where to go. All this
Yep.
And I'm sure she told me all kinds of things, but it's she
I know.
we're driving down the freeway,
Right.
and she has her phone in her hand, and I hear her Googling, and she's certainly started off with asking her girlfriends, hey, who should I go with? And she got 2 or 3 names, and I hear her saying, oh, we're not taking our kid to that. Look at their website. You know what I mean?
Oh.
Or, oh, these guys have terrible reviews. We're not taking those. Could have been, Benny, those could have been the best pediatricians in Orange County, California.
Right.
But based on that, she eliminated them.
Wow.
And picking somebody based on a website and reviews, and that is so important. Forget marketing, bringing in a bunch of tons of calls and whatever. That is step number 1. Make sure your presence is. Make sure they can find you. I can't tell you how many websites I'm preparing for a sales call, and I'm reading their website, and I'm like, what do they do? I don't even know how to prepare for this phone call.
Right.
Or their phone number, or where are they, is their address correct?
Right. Like I've looked at Instagram accounts and literally like can't tell like where the law firm's located.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yes, I get it. But that's interesting, having the social presence. I mean, people really, they look at the aesthetic of the website. So, it has to look pretty. Like they're not going to see something from like 1982, even though those were great years, the music and everything. But they're not going to see that and then want to bring your newborn there.
Yeah, I mean, people forget. Number 1, I think most of the general public doesn't realize how specialized lawyers are.
Yep.
That's why you get calls for DUIs and divorces and wills and trusts and contracts and all that still to this day from your friends and family, right? And you've told them every year at Thanksgiving what the heck you do, and right? The attorneys always tell me this, right? And so it's let the clients who are trying to find you and make it simple for them, right? Make the phone number easy, make sure you're answering the phone, add chat, do all these different things to make sure you're grabbing the business that's trying to find you.
Yeah. So what questions should an attorney ask before hiring a digital marketer, an online person, to set them up with all these assets?
Man, that's a great question. So I think number 1 is really clarifying. I understand they're not going to understand meta tags and title tags and inbound, all the geeky stuff that we do, but have a good idea. Let's talk about a website. If someone's not writing content and doing backlinks on a monthly basis, and you're paying an agency to do something for you every month, if you don't know what that is, you should ask some more questions, or and have it very, very tangible, because content is king. It always has been up until now. I mean, for the foreseeable future, it always will be. So find out make sure they're doing, what is it they're doing on a monthly basis. And number two, make sure you can track things. So many folks that come in the door here, they have a little bit of money in a bunch of different places, and they have no idea what's working and what's not. Right. So it makes it, and so they end up paying those for those services for a long, long time, because they're afraid to pull the plug on something, and that's the one thing that was working. I always make the joke, like, it's like you see the movie Christmas Vacation?
Oh yeah.
Remember Clark brings out the ball of Christmas lights.
Oh
and
yeah.
He goes to Russ, hey, a little knot here. You know what I mean? That's what most attorneys come to us. That's what their marketing looks like. Like, here's this, and we have to figure out which strands of lights are working or what have you.
Gotcha.
And you're not going to know that unless you put tracking numbers on everything.
Okay.
And figure it out. And I tell people one of the best pieces of advice I can give you is, for every dollar you spend, if you're making $3 to $5 back, you're probably in the right spot. Now, listen, we have clients that get the $20 million catastrophic injury. I understand that, but throw those aside. If you're making that 3 to 5 to 1 return on your money, a friend of mine,
and that's actually quantifiable, to like getting those returns, like seeing those returns.
Absolutely. Like if your marketing agency is not giving you a list of, and be able to listen to them, because you're not going to cross-reference by phone number, forget about it. That's a fool's errand. There's no way that's.
Yep.
I have done this for 15 years. I haven't seen that done yet.
Yep.
But where you listen to all the calls, and you can figure out which ones have signed up, and go through the list on a monthly basis with your agency, and here's the 10, 50, 300 phone calls that you got in the last 30 days, whatever.
Gotcha.
And figure out which of those signed up, and then put a return on investment. What was that client worth to you? And if you're doing those, you don't have to do, most firms won't do that on every single month. But if you're spot checking it,
yep,
3 to 4 times through the year, you're spending your money on the right places. And every different campaign, if you're running a website and doing SEO, you're doing PPC, you're doing LSAs, you're doing Facebook, you're doing whatever else, put different tracking numbers on all of them, so you know which ones you're getting your best return on investment. So if you want to scale your firm and want more business, where is your greatest likelihood of getting more of that? Where, if it's
interesting. Okay.
If you're getting a 10 to 1 return on one of them, throw another buck at it, a few more bucks at it, and see if you can scale that.
That makes sense. So are you, first of all, tell me what you all do with, what does RizeUp do with social media?
Right now we do postings. The biggest thing is what social, at its very basic, right? Social media is what a website was 15 years ago.
Right. If
someone's coming to your Facebook page, your Instagram page, your Twitter page, and it's just blank, and you're not active, they're not going to take you serious.
Right.
That's just the reality of things. Now, so what we try to do is, a lot of attorneys, their blog and their social media pages, kind of look like my gym membership, right? Real hot and heavy in the beginning of the year, and then tail off miserably through the year, and so we help supplement that. So because on their to-do list every day, posting on Facebook or Instagram probably falls down the list typically, and so we supplement that. We also run ads as well.
Okay, that's big. Yep.
Geofence, or target certain demographics based on what the type of clients they're looking for.
Okay, and also you have SEO people doing the SEO for the websites and that sort of thing. Yeah.
Yep, we're writing content every month for all of our clients, depending on their spend. Increases the cadence of which we're doing that. So every single month.
What have you worked with AI, or do you plan to work with AI at all?
Great question. It comes up every now and again these days, right?
Yeah.
We certainly are testing it and watching it closely. It's not quite there yet.
Okay.
One of our biggest expenses or expenditures is certainly with our writers, our writing team. And not that I want to put them out of a job by any stretch, but
Right.
we're fans of it. We hope it continues to grow. That savings will be able to pass on to our clients when and if it comes. I'm sure it is.
Yep.
But as of right now, because we're not just writing. Most agencies, they check a box, right? I'm not talking bad about anybody. I'm not judging anyone's business, but they go, oh, we're going to write a 500-word blog, and that's what we do for them every month.
Right.
The reality is, if you want to show up in Boston for personal injury attorney, we have software where we can run the data, put it through, and it'll spit out like 120 different points of data
Wow.
of how long that page needs to be. Listen,
Right.
if all the competitors for Boston car accident attorney have 5,000 words on their page, you need at least 5,000 words to start, not to mention the other 100 some odd different things, what keywords are on there, the frequency of keywords, things of that nature. So we're doing all that for every single piece of content that we're going and writing, which is why we're able to get these sites to rank. And the agencies who do that take take that extra time and expense to do that are the ones that you see have clients ranking on the first page.
Right. Yeah. So how do you compete with other digital marketing firms? Like, would you say sets you apart? What sets RizeUp apart, Travis, from other firms out there?
Well, number one, I think it's our results, right? Our results speak for themselves.
Okay.
We have lots of 5-star reviews and, happy clients and video testimonials and things of that nature, and sites that are ranking. The proof's in the pudding, right?
Yep.
And
Yeah.
we do a lot of marketing ourselves, certainly, but we get a lot of referrals where they see in different markets that we're in, one of our clients is ranking number one or on the first page of whatever search they may be doing.
Right.
And it spawns a call into us where we get a lot of referrals. And then back to kind of what I talked about, I think what sets us apart is understanding the attorney's business, not just trying to sell them a widget.
Yeah.
Is what is it you're trying to do? I tell people, what clients do you want? Where do you want them from? And how many of them do you want? And then
That's amazing.
And then we'll get a budget and we'll reverse engineer it, right? So
interesting. Okay.
Some folks, we all have a budget. Some folks have champagne taste in their beer budget.
Yeah.
So we need to spend that in the right way. Right. I mean, I get it. We've all been there. But making sure that we're setting up a strategy, because if their goal is to bring in more business and make money, if we're not doing that for them, if we're not proving that to them, what's the point? What's the point of all this?
Yeah, that's amazing. We can tell you're passionate about what you do, and you're doing a good job out there. Is there anything else you want to share with us about RizeUp Media?
No, we'd love to help, firms out there that even if it's just have some questions and some guidance, we want to be here as a resource. We think that will pay dividends down the road, certainly. So our doors are always open if we can help you and help you grow your firm or attract more clients. We'd love to hear from you.
That's awesome. Travis Hoechlin, RizeUp Media in Aliso Viejo, California, helping firms all over. Thank you so much for joining us. Stay right there. And everybody else, thanks for tuning in. Wherever you are in the world today, enjoy yourselves. Cheers.